We're in that phase in the election where Donald Trump is supposed to be a serious candidate now, which means that this morning he released a list of 11 names that he is considering if he gets to nominate someone for the Supreme Court. Now, as we're discussing this story, I want you to bear in mind that there is a vacant seat on the Supreme Court right now, which makes this all the more important, all the more real. Because people always talk about who they'd like to put on the Supreme Court. There's not a seat waiting for them in most cases. Hopefully it will get filled before the next person becomes president, but we don't know for sure. So he put out 11 names. The list includes conservative federal and state judges, all representative of the kind of constitutional principles that I value, Trump said in a statement. Now, it's too early in after this being named for us to have details on the voting record of all 11 judges. I searched my damnedest, nobody's got it yet, but we do have some information. Before I get to the serious information, there is a fun little twist to this. One of the names on the list is Don Willett. Now, Don Willett has a special relationship with Donald Trump, and it has to do with Twitter. He apparently is not a big fan of Donald Trump. He's previously tweeted things like this: "Low-energy Trump University has never made it to March Madness, or even to the NIT. Sad." And there's a picture of her about to get hit in the head with a basketball.
That is incredible.
Next one, that time William Shatner flew Trump Airlines. Next, and this is something I should have made, God damn it. We'll rebuild the Death Star. It'll be amazing, believe me, and the rebels will pay for it. Darth Trump. So that's pretty awesome, but this is a guy, look, maybe I'm going to give benefit of the doubt. Trump is looking past the social media activity. More likely, he probably just has no clue what's going on. And he chose the names because the Heritage Foundation put out a list of people they suggest. 5 of the 11 were on that list, by the way. Total coincidence.
I know. I just love how he's like, they have the same constitutional values that I have. He doesn't even really know what's in the Constitution.
He doesn't know what's going on.
I would love to quiz him on the Constitution. That would be fun.
Exactly. So in lieu of, which will come tomorrow, by the way, the actual voting record, what they stand for, we have some hints, which I'll get to. We do have a response from Ed Whalen. He's a former clerk to Justice Scalia, the justice who died making the vacancy in the Supreme Court, and is a prominent conservative legal scholar who says, "It's a good list of some of the outstanding judges who give ample sign of being faithful to the Constitution." But he did add, whether a President Trump could actually be counted on to pick folks like this is a different question. So look, if he's a former clerk to Justice Scalia who is a goddamn crazy person, a psychopath who has the worst things in mind for the American people and our Constitution in specific, this should be an indication that we don't want these people on the Supreme Court if his clerk likes them, if he thinks that they'll be faithful to the Constitution. And, by the way, the Heritage Foundation liking them, that should scare the shit out of you even before we get the actual voting record.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, going on, we do have from the Liberal Alliance for Justice Action Council president. This is people who want justices who will advance some form of social progress in our country. This is Nan Aaron, who says, "The list includes some of the most extreme conservatives on the federal bench today. Their opinions demonstrate open hostility to Americans' rights and liberties, including reproductive justice and environmental, consumer, worker protections. They have ruled consistently in favor of the powerful over everyone else. They would move the needle even further to the right on the Supreme Court." And to give you an idea of one area where you might want to be a little bit scared of these individuals, Donald Trump said in advance of the list that they will be pro-life, and we'll see about overturning Roe v. Wade. I will appoint judges that will be pro-life. So look, like this is the thing that's lurking behind every presidential election, in particular this one, because as I said, there is already a seat waiting. And he wants a justice who will overturn Roe v. Wade. He wants a justice who's going to side with the powerful against the powerless.
I know, and that's the most worrying part about a Trump presidency, because he will have the ability to nominate a Supreme Court justice. And as we know, there's very little turnover when it comes to our Supreme Court. And that could cause a lot of damage. However, also keep in mind that Scalia was a crazy person. And yes, the Supreme Court has made terrible, terrible decisions, right? I don't know. I feel hopeless right now. I feel hopeless.
Don't be hopeless.
I feel so hopeless because what are our options right now?
Well, I mean, the option, look, so here's the thing. Like, hypothetically, we get Bernie Sanders to be president. He will pick the best people in the country to be on the Supreme Court. That has a less than 50% chance of happening. Hillary Clinton would choose, I believe, the sorts of justices that President Obama has chosen. Justices who like in some ways, the Republican appointed justices are cozy with big business, who are, I would say, generally not a big fan of regulation, particularly on business, but on a lot of other areas, especially social issues, they are liberals. And in some areas, even campaign finance, they've not been Clarence Thomas. They're not necessarily the justices that I would choose or that you would choose or that Bernie Sanders would choose, but they're a damn sight better than the I was going to say piles of crap, and then I realized, no, it's the Young Turks. I'm just going to say piles of crap that we got under George W. Bush.
Right.
And look, you point out Scalia sucked.
Yes.
So theoretically, if we got someone who sucked in his place, we'd only be in the same shitty position we were in a couple of years ago.
Yes, that was the point that I was going to make. But there's also Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who's an incredible Supreme Court justice who I absolutely love, and I hope she continues to live a long, healthy life.
Yeah.
But she is certainly older, and there's a possibility that she could retire very, very soon. And so the idea of someone like Donald Trump not only nominating one Supreme Court justice, but nominating two scares the hell out of me.
It does.